want to say, yes, Thanksgiving has been weird, but we just we have so much to be thankful for. And I just can't stress enough how this COVID thing is real. It's hitting our families, and my side of the family, several people have been sick with it, and I mean, it is real. We have to don't fear it, but we have to respect it. And we're living with it. So we have to do that. And the next thing is very, very important. I'll share this with Teresa. Because somebody might want this thing. Teresa has a 6-month-old cat, kitten, whatever. And it needs a home. And I know somebody here would love to have this kitten. Wouldn't you? She can't keep it, she's allergic to it. It's sweet, loving, wonderful. It's just the best cat to ever walk the earth. And so she's really concerned and wants a home for it. So we already have 2.5, so we can't do that. So if somebody really wants a sweet kitten that's already been taken care of, talk to Teresa. It'll just bless your heart so much, and your own too. It could be a
Nope. Jeff speaks with authority on cats. In fact, the authority is known so much that the neighbor cat is coming down to spend time at their house. That's the Halford cat. Okay. Let's bow for prayer. Dear Lord, we're so thankful this morning. We had blessings and praises to share. We had healing. Marty was able to be with his family on Thanksgiving as he recovered and continues to. Other connections, Linda and Larry with grandkids, and Dave and Carol with their grandkids, great grandkids. I lost track there, but just the joys that brings, and we're so thankful to be blessed with new birth, new entries into your kingdom, your family, and just lift up all the praise and glory for that. Also heard about Bruce healing, and we know that he's faithful to this church body, and look forward to seeing him again, but hopefully he'll follow the rules so that he can get back as soon as possible. I'm just glad that he's progressing, doing so much better than he did. Father, we ask that you guide Adam as he brings the message, and just continue to bless us as we go through the Advent season, the holiday season, and all the joys that can bring, but also the business stresses, and just let us have time to stop and pause and remember that we have you to thank for those blessings and for the reason that we celebrate in the first place. It's overwhelming at times. We just continue to keep our eyes on you and ask for you guys to know what we do and say and the way we treat other people. Help us to have a smile on our face. Just bring some joy to others. To ask for guidance in our daily business, our daily work life, or whatever we encounter as we leave today and start another week. Just thank you and praise you and love you. In Jesus' name, amen. Scriptures in 1 Corinthians 13. Probably rings a bell. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Just the very last verse, 1 Corinthians 13:13. And now, by
Good morning. Good morning. A couple things before I get started. One's funny and the other one is actually intriguing. So we have heard a lot of differences this year for Thanksgiving, and we were cautious cautious at the house and decided not to have it. And so our Thanksgiving dinner was pizza pies. And people from, my age and earlier, you go back to that like childhood food every now and then, and for some odd reason, pizza pie sounded good for us this week. So that was our Thanksgiving dinner, but we had to, I had to break my rule. And it was because I was outvoted and fear and common sense told me to do a thing with fear. So actually, when the Christmas lights up before Thanksgiving, well, we're not doing it now, so on Christmas lights up. Yes, okay. But we're not putting them outside. It will not going to happen, not until the day after Thanksgiving, when outside lights go up. So, Ashley got her lights up, and it was different. And, we're sitting around last night eating our Thanksgiving dinner with the father and mom. Christmas lights and trees are up. I'm like, hey, this is different. But yeah, so I had to break my rule, and it pained me. Something awful to have Christmas trees up in the house before Thanksgiving. That is worse than nails on a chalkboard. I don't know why. So that's our funny story. It's so interesting. I read, and you're getting ready to get an astronomy lesson. So this year marks the first time since 1640. Think about this. Jupiter, and you're shaking your head. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's Jupiter and Saturn are going to be the closest to the Earth in a line. So where in the eastern sky it's going to look like a bright star. There's theologians and Christians out there who are on both sides of the fence saying, could this have been the same celestial event that happened when Christ was born? And there's some out there saying, no, it was God's hand. He put a special star in the sky. And I'm going, well, guess what? God kind of controls heaven and earth and the planets. And so why couldn't he have done both? But there shouldn't be if God was involved, if he was involved. So this year, for the first time since 1640, we will get to see what will look like a bright star during the holiday, during the Christmas season in the eastern sky. I found that very interesting, especially with everything that's going on in the world right now. What a reminder to us that God is in control, especially this time of year. So my message today. This Advent season, you're going to get two messages on love. I wanted to go the love route today, but I will put a asterisk next to it. And I'm going to maybe address somebody who is struggling or out there. This is a message of hope as well. Because we're going to talk about heaven on earth, and God's love. 1 Corinthians 13:13, I want to read it again. And now these three remain, faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love. A few weeks back, I heard a country song, and it stuck with me. I was going to read it, but I forgot my phone back in Pastor Phil's office. But I'm going to give you the highlights of it. It's by Nikki Guyton. She's fairly new in the country music world. But it's, dear God, do you have time to hear me? Do you have time to hear my prayer? And she's talking about everything that's going on in the world right now and asking God, if he's not too busy, can you send a little more heaven here on earth? If it's not an inconvenience, can you send a little more heaven here on earth? We can use it right now. And I would encourage you to read the lyrics or listen to it. It's a beautiful song. And don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing it whatsoever. But it struck a chord with me. And I got to thinking, I'm going, from a Christian standpoint, why can't we do a little bit more like heaven? I mean, as a Christian, we should be able to share a little bit of heaven. Because to me, heaven's going to be nothing but love. And why can't we demonstrate love to those around us? You see, God, He can share a little bit more heaven. And you know what? That can be seen through each and every one of us. Roy and I talked this morning in the office, and it was a very blessed time. And Roy, I thank you for the time we shared today, because it calmed the conversation that we had. To know that this could be a message of hope. If you're out there and you're listening today, or you're sitting in these pews, and you're struggling, you're lost, you don't know what to do or where to go, all you have to do is look to the Christians around you, and you'll get a glimpse of God's love. Because God works through us. You see, God is love. The Bible tells us that. We're all created in God's image. And if we're created in God's image, then we're created in love. We're created to be loving. How many times are people out there that we just miss it? We miss the mark. How many times did maybe somebody walk through the door back there and we didn't greet them with love because we brought with us what was bothering us outside of these walls? And instead of quieting our hearts and our minds when we walked in those doors and leaving it here at the altar, we carried it with us into the pews. And it just came off of us like a foul stench. And it might have offended somebody who really at that point in time needed God's love. But we failed to show it because we weren't the image of God. Because we didn't bring a little bit of heaven to earth. You know, when we pray to God, God doesn't always send a miracle. Sometimes He sends people. That little bit of heaven that she's asking for, it should be each and every one of us sitting here or watching at home. In this world that's outside of these doors right now, that's our job. That is our job as Christians, is to show the love of Christ. Because we are made in His image. We are made in God's image. You know, this morning, my day kind of got loused up real bad. I caught a young man trespassing on our property. And it took every ounce of Christian love that I had to really just not let my tongue, and trust me, I was loaded for bear when I addressed this young man. It took every ounce of Christian love that I had not to just carry in hand and not be wearing a Christian hat. Did I get on tonight? Absolutely. Was I incredibly harsh? Absolutely. Because of what could have happened. But you know what? It's just like our parents getting on to us. They did it in a loving manner. I don't know this kid. Never met him before a day in my life. Was he wrong? Yeah. Did he need to be set right? Absolutely. They needed to be done in the right way. How many times in our daily walk are we met with that situation? And instead of doing the right thing, the Christian thing, correcting in a loving manner, do we just fly off the handle and put our Christian hat in the deepest, darkest corner of our house and put on the world's hat and yell and scream and cuss and point fingers and just totally 100% without a shadow of a doubt miss them? No. Hallelujah. I was this close this morning, this close. And I kept telling myself, Adam, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do it. You gotta go ahead and do it this way. I didn't realize that it was gonna come up with a message today, but God's really good. We have got to be the glimpse of heaven that those people outside of these four walls who are lost. We've got to be that glimpse. Kind word, handshake, gesture, card, whatever it may be. You see, that's our job. We have to be all the time made in God's image. We have to be all the time disciples for Christ. We can't let the world seep into us. The best illustration that I can give right now, I don't know why this is in my head, but I'm going to say it anyway. Charlie Brown Christmas is one of my all-time favorite Christmas movies because it's got a great message, and every time that they cite Christmas story, I tear up. And Berkeley's old enough this year that we're going to sit down and watch it together, and I'm so excited for it. But Pigpen. Every time you see Pigpen in a Charlie Brown cartoon or movie, just the dirt and the filth is just dust. When maybe this is something that'll stick with us. When we go outside of there, we think we're getting ready to walk down that road, but we're not going to be Christ-like. I want you to remember Pigpen and all that nasty in the world that might be getting ready to come out of you. I want Pigpen's image in Charlie Brown's cartoons to pop into your mind. Don't be like Pigpen. Be like Linus. Be the voice of reason. In Charlie Brown Christmas, Linus really displayed when Charlie Brown was struggling what Christian love is all about, what the Advent season was all about. He brought the whole thing back to center. So keep that in mind. I want to go to John 13, verses 34 and 35. A new command I give you, love one another, as I have loved you. So you must love one another. By this everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another. Guys, I had this conversation yesterday. Ashley and I were talking about it on our way over to Lotusport. We were going to grab some more Christmas lights, and we had a conversation about some acquaintances of ours and how they don't really appreciate how we don't condone certain lifestyles. And Ashley and I, we don't belittle, we don't berate, we don't talk down about it. But we still love those individuals. You see, no matter who walks through those doors back there, no matter who you run into in your daily walk, you don't have to like their lifestyle. You don't have to accept it. But you have to love that person, that soul, as Christ has loved us. You see, He loved us so much He died for us. And the long list of things that I've done wrong through my life, I don't understand why. But I know that He did it out of love. So when I'm faced with those situations, when we're faced with those situations, love those individuals. As hard as it may be, you have to love them because they're a child of God. They're created in God's image. They just may have strayed away. I want to close, and this wasn't going to be a long message today, but it's an important message of love and hope. If you're out there and you're hopeless, this message is hope for you. If you're lost or struggling, let this message be hope. There are Christian people inside these walls and outside of these walls who may not even be in a church right now, or a glimpse of heaven. You may be lost, you may be lonely, you may be struggling, you may be at your wit's end. Don't worry. There's a Christian out there who will love you and who will guide you the way that you need to be. And if they're truly a Christian, they're not going to judge you, but they're going to help you. In closing, 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 8. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. Keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, it always trusts, it always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be still. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. Love. That is the perfect example of love. Burn that on your hearts. Carry that with you. When you feel like you're going to lose it, remember, love is patient, is kind. It is not easily angered. Are you talking to somebody out of love? Or are you talking to somebody out of the world? Let's go out today to be a glimpse of heaven in this world that is full of chaos and untruths, where justice is just kicked to the side of the road, where it's okay to lie and cheat. Let's go out and be the love light that God calls us to be.
Let's stand together, please. Let's worship and adore Him. Let's worship and adore Him. Let's worship and adore Him. Christ the Lord. For He alone is worthy. For He alone is worthy. For He alone is worthy. Christ the Lord. We'll give Him all the glory. We'll give Him all the glory. We'll give Him all the glory. Christ the Lord.
Let's pray. Lord, we thank you again this morning. Thank you for the presence of your Spirit, for the message that we can go out and love others, even some people we don't necessarily like. We can love them. God expects nothing less of us because He loves them. So just help us to be convicted by your spirit and to respond to your spirit and to treat others the way that we want to be treated and the way that you want us to. Just thank you so much again this morning. In Jesus' name, amen.